Okay, so welcome back. This is game 470, and for the last time, we have to demo our final project. And we were asked to implement all the work we have done in 10 weeks in this quarter. So, we're gonna demo our scene with the fog implementation first, and then without the fog, we'll carry on. So, let's just run this project or scene with the fog implemented. Yes, so this is a scene which we'll explain in a while without fog, but so this is the fog effect on the skybox. We have a bigger range of skybox and also the fog range, so that's why. Just to show our effect on the skybox, we have a bigger range of fog. Let's change this value, and for a quick demo of the fog, run it. Yes, so this is our scene with fog implemented. You can see here on the terrain we have the fog effect. Yeah, and because our skybox is quite big, so we don't have any effect. We don't see the skybox. We have full effect of the fog. So let's run this scene without the fog implementation. You can see if we do not include the fog values, we have no apparent effect on the scene. Yeah, so this is our scene without any fog. So let's first just explain the theme of our scene. The theme is based on our character, which arrives a distant planet and with a spaceship, and yes, they have their station set up here. uh, he he finds some unique elements here, so strange elements here, and surprised to these strange elements, he drops his uh, torch, as you can see here. And we have a dragon protecting this planet, something kind of that logic. Our planet also has some um, water, and yeah, this is a very distant planet. Okay, so starting with the requirements of our final project, we were asked to implement the pre-made models. So here are all our pre-made models. The first we have our unit box with single texture repeated on each face. We have a unit box with single texture uh, uh, with a single texture wrapped around it. We have a unit pyramid. This is our unit pyramid, and we have the sphere. All these pre-made models have proper UV coordinates and the normals, so you can see the light coming from the sphere reflects on these objects, the spotlight. Yeah. Next we have the terrain included. For the terrain and water, we have used the terrain model. uh, you can also notice in the water we have included some kind of effect. For just to show the water effect, we have this wave wave TGA for the height map for the water. We have also included pre-made models in our scene. The first pre-made model is our ship, which the character came the planet through with. Uh, we have our station, which we had set up. Uh, We also have some external models such as these stones. These stones are the external models, uh, and we have these stones which have this um, number of meshes. We have the per mesh basis texture wrapping on this stone, and also on this chip we have the per mesh basis texture wrapping. Next we were asked to implement the skybox, so you can see we have a skybox to show the galaxy. We have a seamless texture with no with no lines. Coming back to our scene, we were also asked to implement the point light, multiple point light and spotlights. So here we have this one point light. You can see we have changed the value of our point light uh, to have this blue effect with the uh, reddish pink specular value. So yeah, and we have this another point light here, and we have the third point light here. We have two spotlights, one coming from the sphere and another one from the torch which we used. Yeah, it's just a normal torch where we added a spotlight here. We have a spotlight, we have the spotlight moving, revolving. Yeah. So that's our scene. We did not scale any object which uses light, which on which we have a light effect, so which counts the terrain and our models. Uh, so now let's jump into the code to have a quick overview of what we have done. We have created a new rasterizer state for the wireframe mode, and which we are not using. We kind of thought of using that. We have a transparent blend state because we wanted to create water, so we are using transparent blend state with to create the water. We have our multi-light textures. This is you can include the upgraded version of texture and light. We have a shader texture and shader color. We have all our shaders loaded. We have one directional light, we have a point light in which we pass the parameters, with which we pass an array of positions for our point light. So this is the array of position. We have all our models. We have these external models loaded. We have our pre-made models here. um, we have all these working through a graphic object. So we pass the models on the graphic object, and we just set the textures for each of the object, and these all are graphic objects. Yeah, we have a lot of meshes here in single object. Next we have the terrain for the water and the ground. So we have the volcano and water height map. We pass the length, the height map, the Y translation, and the UV repeats for the texture. And we have this lantern. Even the torch is made up of two meshes. Okay. And then we pass the world matrix for the location of all our objects, and that's all what we are doing in our in the demo. We do not scale any of the object which uses light. We just translate or rotate. We are just translating or rotating this. We have in the update scene, we have the rotation for our cube and the pre-made models. Yeah, so we have two spotlights, one revolving and one stationary. um, We have all our graphic models, world and material set, and basically that's all what we are doing in our draw scene. Nothing other than that, as we were required to do in our final project. We change the shaders an appropriate time, and yeah, and we set to context the value for the water, the transparency value for the water. And next, to explain, we were asked to use the uh, first let's explain the pre-made models. So here we have our unit box, our glass pre-made model. We have a unit box with 6 faces textured, um, that is one single texture. We have unit box with repeated texture. We have one texture repeated on each face, that the earlier one was a single texture cube mapped. We have a unit pyramid. We have a unit pyramid with repeated textures. Here are the normals for this. We have a unit sphere here. Okay, so these were the pre-made models. Uh, they have their UVs, color and normals set appropriately. Then we have the terrain model. This is the terrain model. We pass the length and the height, the Y translation, UV repeats. We have our terrain um, built to the length specified by the that we are passing. We do not scale it outside this class, so that we do not um, um, have a wrong lighting effect on the terrain. Yeah, we have the normals calculation here. Yeah, and then we have the skybox. We have the skybox here. We have the flat plane. Then we have the model class with the pre-made models we are using. We have model class set to either for the pre-made models or for the external models. For the external models, we use the rule file header.h and mesh separator. Also, we have the models working using the standard vertex. We have included the mesh number value. Then next we have all our graphic objects. All the graphic objects work with the per mesh basis. So as you can see, the color light, the texture light, and yeah, we have the shaders, the texture light shader with the fog effect. We have the multi-light shader, which has multiple point and spotlights, also with the fog effect. We have the color light with the fog effect. So next we have the shader classes. Yes, so we have the multi-light shader, which works with the multiple point light, spotlights and fog lights. You get the drill. Yes, so we have the um, color light, obviously. We have the shader texture light. Also, just to explain, just to make sure, we are passing the pointers to texture, pointers for the texture to the graphic objects to set the texture, and that is even with the case with the um, skybox, the terrain, and everything. Yeah. So I guess that's all with the final project. And let's just run this demo once again. We don't have any errors or warnings, just the requirement of our project. Yes. So this is our final scene, final project. I hope you like it, and um, I'll try to create a story for this theme or the scene. And this was a really interesting subject, and I enjoyed learning the graphic and rendering programming. And that's all. Uh, Thank you.